Hey guys, we're going to go over some power moves or special moves with the king that only the king can do, and it's usually when there's no pieces left on the board. I made a little list on the side, as you can see. Was it opposition, triangulation, shouldering, and outflanking? It sounds like a lot, but it's really not. It's stuff you're probably already doing in your games, but with the explanation here, you'll see what it actually is and how to use it, and maybe to calculate ahead of time so you know when you reach a certain position, like the position you see on the board. You'll know which method to use. You'll be able to see whether you have the opposition or your opponent has the opposition, instead of like I did when I was starting out. A lot more often than not, you just kind of go off your instinct. Like, maybe here your instinct tells you, oh, I'm just gonna run up this way and go here, or I'm gonna come up and try to defend my pawns and offer a draw after a little bit. But once you know these moves, you'll be able to actually employ them accurately. So it's white to move, and as we reach each special move, I'll explain what it is and how it works. All right, so white maintains, gives away opposition. This is distant opposition. I'll explain it deeper a little bit, but odd squares between, both on the same color square. All right, this is distant opposition. Since white has to move, black has the opposition. So black maintains the opposition, and now gives it away because black cannot come here. I mean, black could go here to have diagonal opposition, but that wouldn't work because white would just easily outflank and take the black pawn. So I didn't mention it, but real quick, this whole exercise initially, I mean, it's common sense. You're looking at this, white's trying to take down the black pawns, black's trying to take out the white pawns and promote. So let's move back to where we were. All right, so black moves back, trying to prevent white from outflanking. And we reach this position where white is successfully outflanking. So this is outflanking and shouldering. So notice if the black king were here, this would just be direct opposition. All right, this would just be opposition if black were on this square. All right, so opposition is when you have this little force field thing going on here, and the other person has to move because you're holding the opposition if you were the last one to enter that. But because it's in this knight shape here, all right, this is considered shouldering. So let's say see how it works as we keep moving. So white keeps moving in this shouldering formation. All right, once again, the shouldering, and black tries to take the opposition. But, all right, so black does have the opposition here, but you'll see why it doesn't matter in a second. All right, so black takes the opposition. But, if your king is on the 6th rank, your pawn is on the 5th, you're going to promote no matter what. So white moves out of the way, black follows. Usually, if the pawn is further back, you're able to force a draw this way, but the pawn is too far advanced and the black king is unable to back up. Right here, this is a winning position without these two pawns here, but I just wanted to show both ways how it's winning for white. All right, and white successfully blocks black from stopping this pawn. There's nothing stopping it. Right here, we have this whole force field going on, and once white advances the pawn, even this square is going to be covered. So this is completely lost for black. And just want to come back to this position where black takes the opposition, and you don't even need to worry about those two rim pawns on the H file because it's completely winning here. So white advances the pawn. All right, this is not a stalemate position because the black king has an escape. Now, if the white king were here, this is the position you don't want. All right, the white king blocks those squares, the pawn blocks these squares, pawn can't be captured. This would be a stalemate. So black exits the position, and we queen and go on for a win. So that is shouldering, opposition, and outflanking. I just want to go to the starting square just to show real quick. All right, outflanking, you're coming around the position to take out the pawn, and shouldering, it's when you reach that position that we did where it was like a knight shape. So shouldering is kind of like opposition, but instead you're doing it on a diagonal. So it's if your king's here, actually let me just get to that position. All right, so with opposition, you're taking these 3 squares, but with shouldering, you're more worried about these 2 squares and how you can push your opponent around. Last thing we'll get into is triangulation. Triangulation is really easy. It's not some crazy like calculus thing that you have to figure out and do some crazy math problem or something. It's really easy. So this position, it looks completely winning for white. All right, that's 2 pawns versus 1 pawn. Black's going to try to hold on to a draw by creating a blockade here, but white is going to triangulate. So here's the starting position. Black has the opposition, so white has to move. All right, once again, opposition. The kings face each other 1 square apart. All right, and black enters the position trying to create that blockade, keeping the pawn from moving. But white triangulates. All right, so notice the shape that white just moved in. All right, so from the start, white could have just come here and then over. There's several ways to triangulate this position, but notice black just went back and forth. So it went between two squares, whereas white went between 3. It looks like they're in the same exact position from the start, but they're actually not, because now it's black to move. So black moves out of the way because black could not go here because of the pawn. And white just goes for the pawn break. This is an easy win. All right, for each opposition. And this is just an easy win. Let's look at another try by black. Let's say you triangulate a different way, and black, instead of moving backward, decides to go forward. I mean, this is a complete blunder. Black is going to have to try to re-enter the position this way to stop the advancing pawns, but that just wouldn't work. Right now, black cannot re-enter the position this way. If it comes down here, that's even worse. I mean, you're just going to advance these pawns. But real quick, that's triangulation. It's super simple. All you're doing is moving in a triangle while protecting this pawn here. It's not always going to be this scenario where you're trying to protect this kind of pawn chain. There's going to be several scenarios where all you're doing is trying to waste a move to regain opposition. All right. So I hope that helps, knowing the king's power moves in the end game. You didn't spend the past like 30, 40, 50 moves growling through the opening in the middle game to reach a position and not be able to win it. So it might seem like, I don't know if these type of things aren't like super interesting, but you don't want to give away what could be potentially be a draw instead of a loss, or a win instead of a draw, because you don't know how to triangulate or use opposition and things like that. So I hope this helps. If you have any questions, feel free to comment and I'll do my best to answer it. The next video I'll be covering today, I wanted to go over checks, captures, and threats, so look forward to that. Checks, captures, and threats usually lead to a ton of tactics, so enjoy. See you guys.